Is there a performance advantage to running a whip-mounted light along with a handheld light? Let's find out. I'm Jamison with Werkz, and today I'm going to show you how to compare two different handheld light techniques and two different pistol light techniques to find out which one works best for you. So in a low light environment, you're going to be using your handheld to search and identify a potential threat. You can't just pull your gun out and point it in a dark area and turn the light on when you don't even know if there even is a threat there. You hear a noise, it could be someone that fell, it could be some bystander that is not a threat in any way, right? So morally and legally speaking, you need to make sure you have your handheld light so you can first gather that information, and then from there, with that, you can choose to figure out if you need to actually get your gun out and get shots on target. But I have a handheld in my hand, and I have my gun in my holster. What do I do now? We're gonna be going through 4 different techniques, 2 using only a handheld light, and 2 transitioning from your handheld light to your pistol light to get shots on target. For the past number of years, I have sought out low light training in both live fire and force and force. Most recent class last month was with Chris Costa's 3-day low light class. Shannon and I have an after action report you can check out as well on that. So we will be using the build drill to measure performance between these different techniques. For reference, my most recent build drill in a class was at 2.08 seconds from concealment. The 2 data points we will be comparing are the total time as well as the first shot time. So the gear I'm running today, I am running a Werkz M6 holster, and I'm running that appendix up front. And then the gun I'm running today is a Glock 45 with a Holosun 507C V2, as well as a Modlite PL350 with the PLH V2 head, and I'm running my own personal modification on these switches. For the handheld today, I am running the Modlite 18650 body with the OKW head, and I'm also using a Theorem switchback on the back of the light. This has a ring and it has a pocket clip that you can add on to most 1-inch body lights out there. This allows you to flip your light around and you can actually retain it without actually dropping the light. 2 of the techniques we use today will actually require this. All right, so the first technique today is going to be the neck index. I chose neck index because I wanted a one-handed grip to compare. The neck index technique requires a handheld light. It does not require a pistol-mounted light. It also does not require the switchback at all. This technique allows you to keep light constantly on the threat the entire time. There's no need to turn your light off during the draw, as your light can stay right up here. So I'm first gonna do one slow dry fire to show you what it looks like with the buzzer. So on the threat, on the buzzer, clear with one hand, come out on target, and fire 6 shots into the A zone. All right, we ready? All right, 6 shots on the buzzer. We have a total time of 4.40. First shot is 2.17, then a 4.7, a 4.5, 4.5, 4.4, and a 4.2. We got one low. That was like my 3rd shot, I think. I felt that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shooting the neck index method, I have decent control with my right hand. It does jump around a bit. I'm shooting that kind of 0.4 to 0.5 split. Getting very accurate hits. I'm gonna be pretty much within this for the most part, which is where I wanna be. So I probably can't go much faster in this situation, in this distance with this one-hand shooting. Traditionally, I'm shooting a lot closer to 0.20 splits, controlled at that point. If I'm really smoking it and I might open up a little bit more, I can shoot as fast as 0.16 sometimes with 2 hands. So I'm giving up a good amount of speed. It's twice as slow or even more in some cases. So the next technique is the Rogers Surefire technique. This requires a handheld light. It does not require a whip-mounted light, as you're using only the handheld as your source of light. While you do not technically need a Theorem switchback or similar device for this, I highly recommend it. I'm going to be relying on that entirely for using this technique. So with this technique, you do have a partially compromised 2-handed grip because you flip your hand around while you get the gun out, and you can't quite get your left hand entirely on with a traditional support hand grip. It should allow for more control during recoil. There's 2 main ways you can get your gun out of the holster while you're doing this technique. I can either keep my light on the threat the entire time, get a one-hand grip, come out, and then turn my light off, flip it, come back on, and that's the amount of downtime I have with the light. Or if I want to go a little faster, I can turn my light off and go for my traditional two-hand draw to get my shirt out of the way, come out, flip, come back on. What happens with that is you have slightly more downtime of no light on the threat, however you get your gun out faster. So you can pick one or the other. That is going to be very situation dependent. So I'm going to do it slowly here. So from here, it's going to be grab, come out, flip, come out with a partial two-hand grip, and then I'm going to put pressure onto the tail cap of the light to get the target illuminated. Stand by. Total time is 3.55. So really not much different from one-handed shooting. What I had found was it was kind of hard to get my grip just how I wanted it, so I was kind of fighting that. All hits are in, pretty decent grip for what I was doing, I think. So running the Rogers Surefire grip, my main issue is getting the pseudo two-handed grip, getting my second hand on there. Activating the light is very easy, and follow-up shots are pretty darn easy. It's probably in between a full two-hand grip and a one-hand grip, so it is better than one-handed grip, I would say. The only thing I would say that I don't like how it looks from what I'm visually seeing is wherever I'm aiming at, the light's a little bit below it. Is that ideal? I mean, honestly, if I'm aiming here, my light's here, it should be fine. When I was shooting that, I actually couldn't entirely see my hits. I saw my dot moving, so I could call my shots for the most part. I knew where I was at, but I didn't actually verify with my eyes on the cardboard, which in cardboard world, in the flat range world, you can game that, you can cheat that, you can see that. In real life, it's very uncommon to be able to see where your actual hits are because of clothing mostly. So that actually is probably more realistic in what it would be if you were to be attacked and actually engaging someone. All right, our third technique is going to be switching from handheld to a weapon-mounted light while retaining the handheld light. To do this, you need a handheld, of course, the theorem switchback to retain it, as well as a light on your pistol. Some benefits to retaining your handheld light is that while you have your gun with that light out on target, you can actually use your handheld to potentially scan other areas and look around while you keep your main light focused on that threat. With this technique, you should have a full two-hand grip. We'll see if the switchback gets in the way at all. From past shooting, it tends not to. So the draw is done the same way as the Surefire Rogers technique. The only difference is I can choose to keep my light on the threat the entire time. So if I wanted to keep light on the entire time, I can keep light on here, clear my shirt, come out with a one-handed draw, click this light on, and then flip and come on target with a full two-hand grip. Pretty slick, but also, again, situationally dependent. If I want to get my gun out faster, I might choose to ditch the light, come out, turn the light on, and go from there. In this case, I'm going to go with what should be a faster method, which is ditch the light for that little bit more light downtime, but hopefully a faster first shot, first gun out time. Stand by. So 3.11 was the total time. I believe that was the fastest. Comparing to the other two techniques, this one felt like I got more reliably on target for the first shot faster. The recoil was considerably easier as well. It worked great, I think. Overall, I'm very happy with that. I would say I would want to probably continue to use that method, especially between those three so far. All right, and our fourth technique today is going to be very similar to the third one. It is going to be switching from our handheld to our weapon light, except I'm going to be ditching the handheld light. I would think this should be a little faster to get my gun out on target, and if anything, help me with my splits, with my control, because I have nothing to interfere at all. It'd be normal two-hand shooting, just simply using my weapon-mounted light. And real quick, before we get into this, make sure if you're ditching your handheld light, or if you're ever switching in the first place, to turn this off. If I click this on and I drop it, now I have light potentially pointing at me or just pointing somewhere around me, and I don't want to deal with that because it's now on the ground, and I'm not about to try to fix that if I need to, if I'm engaging someone right here. Stand by. Total time of 2.64. Now that's the fastest time so far. Overall, I would say that worked great. All it really did compared to the retaining light technique with the theorem is I don't have to worry about flipping the theorem out of the way. That's it, really. I don't know if I'd ever use it. So between all the methods used today, I'm probably going to, for the most part, of course, situation dependent, retain the light and go to a full two-hand grip with my weapon-mounted light. I'm running a PL350 right now, so stepping down from this OKW to a PLHV2, or I could just run an OKW on that light too. I'm not really sacrificing any kind of output, whether it comes to lumens or candela. Generally speaking, it's, of course they're slightly different, but it's so close that I'm not really sacrificing anything I need. If you're running something like a Streamlight TLR7, you are stepping down a lot from your, for example, the big four handhelds, being between Modlight, Cloud, Surefire, and Streamlight. So it's of course situation dependent, but carry a strong pistol light and you don't have to really give up anything really. So we just went through the 4 different techniques. Shooting through those, I found that doing the neck index and doing the Surefire technique, I was a little wanting of more control on recoil. And then going through the full 2-hand grip techniques that used my pistol light when I transitioned to that, I had a lot more control over my gun and I still had a really good solid light on the threat. So between all of those, I'm going to go ahead and default to the transitioning to my pistol light while retaining my handheld. Now I had a slightly better time overall dropping my handheld. However, I'm now giving up that light source entirely. I would rather retain that light and still have that other tool in my hand that I can come back to. So let's say I'm out on target, I put shots on target with my pistol light, my handheld's in my hand still. I go ahead and shoot the threat, not a threat anymore. I can come back, keep my gun on the threat as needed, and I can actually search with my handheld and look for any buddies that he has, right? Because when someone attacks you, they might be more than one. If you found this helpful, like and subscribe. Now go out there, try this for yourself, and comment below what your results are. Thank you for watching, stay safe, and carry a light.